Hello everyone, welcome back to channel again. This is Cloud Institution, the best cloud training institution in Bangalore. So today in this video we're going to see about another very interesting and very important interview question. This particular interview question can be asked in most of the interviews from the beginner level or intermediate level or advanced level. So whichever the standard, standard of interviews is, it can be, but this particular question will be asked in every interviews. So the interview question for today is going to be explain the concept of alias record in Route 53. So what is alias record in Route 53? Okay, first of all, we should see what is alias record. Okay, so the answer for this question should be the alias record are used to route the traffic to AWS resources like load balancer and route S3 bucket by resolving to the AWS resource names. So how does it differ from the standard way of routing? Okay, so usually, so the DNS record will be pointed to, A records or, 4-year record for IPv6 and IPv4, right? So also, you can also route the traffic to so different EC2 instances, so where directly if you have DNS names for the EC2 instances, we can just route the traffic to the DNS names of the EC2 instances as well. So in some we can also create a CNAME record that can be route the traffic to different domain names. Okay, so we can do a lot of things like this, right? So now what is the alias record and how do you find this? So we can just go back to our AWS console and see how to find the AWS record. Okay, CNAME record. For example, I have multiple hosted zones are available, and so okay, this is my hosted zone. This is a cloud institution 1.com. Okay, this is the dummy host name. So if you want to create an alias record that can be point to the some of the services internally. For example, if I don't have, so this is the alias, right? So this is the alias we are talking about. So if you don't enable alias, okay, so this is alias enabled. If you don't enable alias, so I should be only able to give the IP address of the machine. Okay, so we can give the IP address of the machine, and if you give IPv6, if you give IPv6 or CNAME, CNAME also you can give to route the traffic to some of the different domain names, or you can route the traffic to IPv4 as well, right? IPv4, and then this is IPv6 address, and then the CNAME. So we can give all these things using without alias. So if you can give alias, what happens is that you need to get the endpoints. So what are the different endpoints you can give? For example, a record, right? So if you can give a record of the alias, like alias to the application or classic load balancers. I'm going to create an application or classic load balancer with the region. I can choose US East 1, US East 1 region. Okay, the load balancers should be this one. Okay, so for example, or maybe this one, right? So whichever the load balancer you want to do. Okay, so the difference between alias and then this one is that if you want to route the traffic to one of the services, or if it is S3 bucket, or you can also choose the S3 bucket over here as well, right? So S3 bucket website endpoint, if you already have a S3 bucket website endpoint, in some so I'm sure I don't have any endpoints since created for S3 bucket. Okay, I don't have any endpoints, but for the load balancers, application load balancers, for the US East 1 region, I have load balancers, right? So like this, if you wanted to route the traffic internally within the services like EC2, sorry, load balancers or S3 bucket on this kind of a services, you want to route the traffic, then the alias record will be used. Okay, that's what here it is telling. The alias record are used to route the traffic to AWS resources like load balancers and S3 bucket by resolving their AWS resource names. Okay, they are distinct from the standard DNS records which resolves to IP addresses. Okay, so alias records are especially used for the creating a flexible and reliable routing configuration within the AWS. Okay, so hope you understand this question. This particular question is very important to prepare for your interview. So if you understand this question, please please forward this particular videos to your friends, so it will be very helpful for them to prepare for this question itself. Okay, so if you like this video, please like, comment, share, and subscribe, and please stay tuned for rest of the videos in the future. Thank you guys.